And now, with sad hearts, we must say farewell to you and your dear ones. For how long, or perhaps forever, who knows? The farewell is hard, infinitely hard. And this wonderful country, perhaps to see it for the last time, and with thoughts of the future awaiting us. Properly speaking, this journey is a leap to uncertainty from unbearable certainty.
As always, at moments of crisis, Bartok's thoughts moved forward to the future. The reality awaiting Bela and Dita Bartok was even harder than they had expected. In America, they were virtually unknown, except to a few. Concert engagements were sparse. To make matters worse, their luggage was lost for 3 months. Disillusioned, unapproachable, Bartok lived in spiritual exile. He felt as if his life work was finished. The Bartoks finally found a comfortable apartment in the West Bronx, north of Manhattan, large enough to house their 2 rented pianos.
We kept in touch by mail. They would send letters in duplicate, one for my brother, who was still at the English school, and the other for me.
Neki elküldték az egyik levelet, és nekem a másikat. Nekem azért kellett inkább írni, mert én voltam megbízva apám összes...
I was looking after my father's affairs and his house, as they hadn't left like immigrants, but intended to return.
Nem úgy mentek el, hogy emigrálnak, mint ahogy itt a legendákkal szokták terjeszteni, hanem úgy, hogy vissza fognak jönni.
Through the help of Paul Henry Lang and others at Columbia University, Bartok received a position as a research fellow, not to teach, but to transcribe a huge recorded collection of Yugoslav folk songs, given to Columbia by Milman Parry. It was laborious work.
Of course, the main trouble was, you see, he was interested in teaching very much. He wanted to teach piano. But there was a piano teacher in New York behind every lamppost. And failing that, he wanted to do ethnomusicology. Well, we didn't have it yet. Today, every university has ethnomusicology. In fact, all you need is a tape recorder and a round trip to Kenya, and you're in the business.
Bartok traveled to work by subway. On March 25th, 1941, he turned 60. Hardly anybody noticed. In December, America entered the war. The next April, after a 4-month trip, Peter arrived to join his parents. He found his father in weakened health.
Well, it was very difficult to help him. Everybody tried. Not everybody, but the people who really understood him Everybody tried. But first of all, he wanted to know what's behind the offer. It was a form of integrity that is not endemic with musicians.
Bartok had written no new music since his string quartet number 6, finished just before leaving Hungary. The work is played here by the Orford Quartet. Through 1942, Bartok's health grew worse. He considered giving up concerts entirely. Then his appointment at Columbia University was not renewed. Bartok was in despair. He became feverish. His weight dropped. In February 1943, while speaking at Harvard, he collapsed. For weeks, his life hung in the balance. It was leukemia. His close friend, the violinist Joseph Szigeti, remembers.
At rehearsals with Kusevitsky for a Boston Symphony concert, I explained that Bartok was in a hospital. And all we could do was try to lift his spirits. To this he replied, I will visit him and ask him to write a new work for me.
Bartok tried to refuse. Kusevitsky insisted. Finally, Bartok said yes. It was the month of May. Suddenly, Bartok's leukemia went into remission. He began to gain weight. By July, he was strong enough to be sent north, into the mountains. The place chosen was Saranac Lake in northern New York State. Here, in a landscape not unlike Transylvania, Bartok's courage returned. The expenses were paid by the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers. In August, he began to compose, for the first time in nearly 4 years, music for a great orchestra and conductor. Cared for by Dita in this simple guest house, shared with other convalescents, in a tiny upstairs bedroom and porch, and downstairs in the living room where there was a piano, working almost day and night for 7 weeks, Bartok wrote his largest orchestra work since the Kossuth Symphony of so long ago. On October 8th, it was finished. He called it Concerto